And hello!
Hi.
So nice to see you.
Hi, nice to see you too. How are you?
I'm doing perfectly fine, and now even better. It's usually at this time at 9 p.m. is past my bedtime. Uh,
Mine
but
too.
but I'm
You're lucky.
but you've made this an exception, and I had to make this an exception
Uh,
because 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 quite honestly, it's it's dark, but suddenly it's become very sunny. And as cliche as it sounds, I am thrilled to welcome one of the most boldest women. And I was just telling everyone that one of the boldest women in Indian cinema, and I think a person whose story is so inspirational, is joining us for the last and final episode of Kuch Toh Karona. So thank you so much, Karanjit. Is it
thank
Karen?
you so.
Is it
Well,
Karanjit?
my friends in the US, they call me Karen. Then my close people who know me as Karanjeet call me Karanjeet. And then most people call me Sunny.
Great. So, what am I allowed to call you? Any
What
of the three?
your choice? So
Basically,
many options.
with the Indian accent, I can only say Karanjit and not Karanjit.
Yeah, I
But
say Karanjeet.
correct. But tell me, you've lived now in three countries, correct? You've been in Canada, you've been in the United States of America, and now for the longest time you've been in India.
Yes.
One thing that you admire most about India, apart from its people.
I just love how the wheel keeps on turning here. Somehow, it is one of the most amazing places that I've ever been. And I mean, apart from what's going on right now, but one of the most emerging markets. And really, if you have any ideas, anything that you're really creative on, I mean, it could happen here. So, and that's basically what I've been doing. All my dreams and all these things that I've always wanted to do, I've been able to fulfill here. So, thank you, everybody.
No, sure. I think India is this one country where anything is possible. Yeah, the word
Right.
impossible can be broken up and made into I am possible in this country. And
Seriously.
you are one person who's actually shown the way. You
Oh,
actually shown the way in terms of how impossible can be broken up and made I am possible. Usually, no, it's true. I I've read the first time I saw you when I met you at Ambi Valley. I was simply mesmerized by not just you as a person, but what you were talking about, and uh, and that's what I want to touch upon before we go on the grim subject of coronavirus. I want to touch upon
okay.
your. So, with your permission, I want to ask you this one question, which is a slightly light-hearted question before we start all the serious talk.
Sure.
Where is the
Ask
AC
away.
remote?
I
Where is
know.
the AC remote?
It's so hot. I'm dying. It is so hot outside and it's so hot inside. It is beyond annoying. Okay, ask away.
So no, but tell me one thing. If you had to do one household chore, if you had to do you participate in household chores at your house?
I am cleaning and cooking all day long. That's all
Really?
I do. I refuse to post one of those videos because I think it's ridiculous that, oh, it's this crazy thing. Everybody's cooking and cleaning now. I come from America where everybody cooks and cleans their own house and cooks their own food. So it's absolutely normal. I just haven't done it in so many years because I'm living in India where it's amazing. It's amazing. But it's not that it's difficult. It's just takes time. And I have 3 kids. Yeah. So.
No, but whenever you try to cook and you do a good job, I try to cook, and every time I try to cook, the food goes up only in one person's mouth, and that's mine, because I'm force fed, and people tell me saying, "Look at what you've cooked. This is what you're
Oh.
trying to feed us." But, but no, but tell me, which is your so if you had to choose one task that you would do every single day. I know now you're doing all of it, but that one task that you like the most in terms of your household chores.
I do like cooking for my kids and my family. only because they have to eat it because we're in a really crappy situation. So they have no choice because we are not wasting any food in this house at all. So it makes me feel great because they have no choice but to eat it, whether they like it or not.
So, but it's good that you're cooking and I'm not cooking. Imagine if I was cooking and your children had to eat, then they would run away
I
forever.
know. Yeah,
But,
maybe. If it's as bad as you say it is, then yeah.
no, no, but let me touch upon your journey. And before we touch upon your journey, uh, I want to ask you this: you made the transition from the United States of America, from from an adult film industry all the way to Indian mainstream cinema, and just in one word, if you were to summarize that entire journey, what would be that word?
In one word, that's really difficult. I'd say
Otherwise,
incredible.
because everybody knows the journey, so I wanted to ask you something that nobody's asked you before.
Yeah, sum it up in one word.
But 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 let me ask you questions on coronavirus. In terms of coronavirus, this is a pandemic. It's hitting the United States of America, your home country, as much as it's hitting India. Your thoughts on the pandemic and the fact that everyone in this moment is united and not divided by borders.
Um, it's really difficult because there is no other option but to stay home. There is no other option but to, get through this. Nothing is open, no work can be done. Um, and you're stuck at home because the safety of your family comes first. So what are we left with? No other choice, really. And whatever the government sets forth for us is what we have to follow. And I think it's very difficult for a lot of people out there, and I feel very fortunate that I have, a home where I feel safe. But I think there's a lot of people that do not feel safe, and they have to do things that, puts their family at risk, and they have to survive, and they have to fight to get food home. And some of the things that we see today has been really upsetting, really, truly upsetting, because the only way we're going to get through this is if the government and the people work together so that nobody is hungry and
Absolutely.
nobody is starving. And if those basic needs can be met, because that's what all we have are basic needs, then, we can get through this. But, it's
So it has
I
to be.
think it's a tough day today for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been a very tough day for a lot of people, especially for me because I've done all the sweeping and mopping today. But
Good job. Good job. So if I did a white glove test in your house, would you pass?
absolutely, absolutely. Once this lockdown is over, you should come and see everything.
Okay.
Everything is crystal clear and white. Can you see all the white behind?
Yeah, I do. Good job. Just
No,
don't
but,
pan left or right and you're fine.
no, but there's a specific reason we're not sitting in my room or the living room, and we're sitting in my sister's room, which is the cleanest part of the house.
Oh, wow. How many people are in your house?
So there are four of us in the house, but
Four
the
adults?
four adults. But
That's
but
nice.
yeah, but I'm the one that's bullied around and told to do a bunch of stuff till they realize that I'm only screwing it up, and then after that, everyone says, "Please don't touch anything."
Yeah, sure.
But no, but tell me this. You said it's a difficult time for all of us. And it's the joint efforts of people and the government that is going to take us through.
Yeah.
So my question to you is this: today there were 1,000 people in, and this is the second part of the segment called "Tum Bhi Karona." There were 1,000 people who have gathered in a particular part of Mumbai, and
Yeah.
it's a very sad and a difficult thing. So your thoughts on people who are not following not just what the central government is saying or not just what one political party is saying, but all people across have been saying stay at home, irrespective of their beliefs, where they come from. Your thoughts on people who are not following quarantine?
So I think that a lot of those people are migrant workers, right? If I'm not correct.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure that they really have a choice. I think that they're stuck there and they're trying to get home. And all they need is food. I mean, I think I just read something because I've been watching the videos. I've at 8 o'clock in my house, I just want you to know, is when my children go to sleep. So at 8 o'clock is when I catch up on everything. So I've not caught up on everything yet, but one of the things that I read was that they are willing to stay put if they just are fed and they get food. And, you know, having kids and a family, I would also fight and crawl and do whatever I needed to feed my children. And I think a lot of people out there are, or they're trying to get home to their families, or maybe people that are sick. So that's really sad. I think that if you're going to enforce certain rules and regulations, which is completely fine, but maybe some sort of heads up would have been good for a lot of these people, so that not necessarily panic buy, but at least buy enough goods and buy enough things for their families to eat. And I think that is the biggest thing that I saw in the last 30 minutes, you know, online. So I really hope that in the next 24 hours, 36 hours, that some of these things change, because it will only get worse. And when people are hungry and it's not about fighting for the right to do certain things. I think it's fighting for the right to stay alive.
It's very well
sad.
said.
I'm so, it's so sad.
But what you're saying is absolutely true, and you said it with a smile, and that's what, and as much as we touched upon that subject, I also want to touch upon this subject, which is also equally pertinent. Young people who are between the age bracket of 13 to 24, people who will watch this live, these people are the ones who also, many of them, are used to spending their summer vacation doing many things. Now, for the first time, the only thing they're doing is Netflix and chill has actually become a part of their day-to-day life. What can young people sit at home and do? Because there's only as much that you can do. You've got 3 children, so you keep yourself busy. In my case, it's almost impossible to do anything at home beyond Netflixing and chilling.
Right. I think that something that people might want to consider is setting a routine. Setting a routine at a certain time that you said, okay, this is, if you don't have any children and no one's waking you up, then you set that time that you say, I'm going to get up at this time. And from this time to this time, I'll have my breakfast, I'll have my tea or coffee, whatever it is. And then from this time to this time, exercise or read or do certain things. I think setting a routine, as horrible maybe as it sounds for some people, setting a routine gives you a purpose. You know, you have a purpose for your day. You have to complete certain things, and whether it's reading for 30 minutes, and it can be anything. It could be reading the news, or maybe it's reading everything on Twitter and everything that's going on, or maybe an online book, or playing games, or maybe instead of playing digital games, maybe you're playing cards with your family, and set that certain time, you know, to do that. And, you know, have a glass of wine if you're over the age of 21.
21, 25.
I don't know. What's the rules here?
No, I'm just...
Okay.
But
is this like a drinking joke?
Yeah, a drinking joke.
Yeah, okay.
But this is a good time to spend time with your family. So the first few days
you're forced to spend time with your family. That's all you got. That's it, is your family and everyone else that's left in the house. And you're probably being out to like another level. But yeah, but setting that routine is good, because then it...
No, I started with setting that routine. Okay, so I'll be really honest. Before you gave me this advice, I tried it on my own. I used to spend time with my family and made it a point. So the first 4 days, my family members were very happy. They said, Rishabh has finally come back home. We're getting to see him. The 5th day onwards, they wanted to take me and throw me out of the house, saying,
oh, no.
No, no, but jokes aside, I think spending time with family is one of the positives and the pluses of quarantine. I don't think we would have ever gotten a chance to spend so much time with your family, and especially considering the routine that you keep. I'm pretty sure this is a welcome break.
Yeah, no, the spending time with the children and being together is absolutely amazing. But there is a fault, like my children are very small. They're two-year-old boys and then one
Wow.
4-year-old girl. And they're
And you've
amazing. They're
adopted them.
super funny. I'm sorry?
You've adopted them.
We adopted our little girl, and then our
Correct.
boys are our genes through surrogates. So they're our flesh and blood. They just were cooked in a different oven. So they're super cute. They're super cute and so much fun. But there is a backlash of this. I mean, you know, we're raising children in a world where we tell them they have to sanitize every 5 minutes if they touch something. Um, they have grown extremely attached to both Daniel and I, which is going to be a huge problem when we try and get them to go back to school because they will it's like it's not healthy. There's a healthy balance for everything. And even though it's amazing that we spend this much time together, I think that they're going to have a really, really difficult time separating. And the same goes for us. We're going to have a really hard time
Correct.
separating and saying, okay, now you go to school. I joke about it and say, oh, I want to send you to school so I can have peace and quiet for 2 hours out of my day of complete silence. But it's going to be extremely difficult to that first day to drop them off at school and watch them walk in and not be behind them and not see them. I
I
think
can
I'll
completely.
cry more than they will.
I can completely imagine and I can understand what you're saying. But let me at this juncture to the last part of what we have to discuss. It's supposed to be a 21-day lockdown. So we usually prepare 21 questions, but instead of 21 questions, people usually get tired in the second or third question. So I've reduced that, and it's a rapid, it's a rapid fire, but you must
Okay.
answer as honestly as possible.
Okay.
Uh,
Done.
so So the first question, your your favorite Netflix show to binge watch?
Ozarks. 3. I just finished.
Favorite character on the show now because I watch it. That's the reason why.
What's her name? The girl. Ruth.
Your and she's lovely. But let me take you to another subject. Your favorite food to eat, which is your favorite dish to eat?
French fries.
And you can do with n number of French fries because of your routine. If I start eating French fries, these cheeks will double up, and at the end of the 21-day lockdown, it'll become a problem for me. But let me ask you this last $1 million question. And at the end of this, we will transfer $1 million to your bank account if you answer them right.
Thank, thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to that because I ain't making any money right now.
On the contrary, I was going to say I'm open to donations. IIMUN as a foundation is
Oh.
more than happy to take donations. But let me ask you this question because I think a lot of people want to know which is the next movie that we're going to see you in.
Coca-Cola. It's a working title. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to keep that, but it'll be a film called Coca-Cola. As soon as this lockdown is done, I just have a couple more days left, and then boom, I'll be in the movie theater.
Ah, how nice. And we all look forward to seeing you in the movie theater. But before I let you go and before we take two questions from the audience, I really want to know this because your journey has been so inspirational. So I keep telling academicians and I keep telling principals and young people that there's so much to learn from your journey. So I know I'm keeping you a minute longer, but I'll ask you this question before I let you go. Is that tell us
Okay.
one story. We've heard you we've heard your entire journey from the United States of America to mainstream cinema. But tell me one
Yeah.
episode which you've never narrated thus far, which has helped transform your life.
One of the few people I met when I first started working in entertainment, he said something to me that really did change my life. There were two people that said this. One, it was two different things. One person said to me, which is why I'm never late anymore, is what makes your time better than my time? So, because he said that to me, I now think, oh, that's so right. Everybody is should be worth the same. So why is one person's time better than the other person's time? So that's why I am never late. And when the reason that I finally committed to live and be here in India, there was a filmmaker that sat me down, and it was such a like, not a serious conversation, but sort of was. And he said, look, Sunny, you have to make a decision. You either have to be here in India or you have to be in America, but you cannot do both. It's not going to happen. It will never work. You either have to go for it and jump in and just, keep your eye on the prize or keep your eye on the ball, whatever it is, and just work and decide. But you have to decide. And I was like, wow, that's such a simple thing for somebody to say to me, and it just helped me make that choice. And then right after that, I got a place, I got a car, and we got certain people helping us, and and now I've been here for many years.
And then you found yourself on your way to the IIMUN platform.
Yeah.
But before you go, I must ask you two questions from the audience, because there are so many of your fans over here. So I'm going to ask you the last two questions from the audience.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is one which is about coronavirus. What is your best activity, or how do you spend maximum time during lockdown?
I spend from 6:30, 7 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night taking care of my kids. That's what I do. That is my best time spending all day, is being with them. They are amazing and crazy and beyond unrealistic in a lot of the things that they do or their requests. But they're super cute, and watching them grow and learn new things is amazing. And myself and Daniel are the ones who have taught them.
And the last question that there is before, and this is the final question, I promise you, this is from a girl called Kashvi Jaggi, and she asks, saying, how do you explain your kids about the novel coronavirus pandemic?
Well, the 2-year-olds, I do not have to explain anything to. They just have to sanitize and wash their hands every 2 minutes if they touch something outside, because I'm neurotic. And our daughter, we have explained to her that there's a virus out there, nobody can leave, everything is locked down, it's going to go away, everything's going to go back to normal. And then I think she was sad for a little while, and we just kept her on this routine with her schoolwork and everything, and it's, she's quite understanding. So that's what we did. Nothing crazy.
Perfect. So it was no, but it's the beauty is in the simplicity, right? And I don't think I've seen somebody as simple, but at the same point in time as bold as you are. Honestly, on behalf of everyone that I'm on, it's been a pleasure and a privilege. You've honestly brightened up the mood, and at the same point in time, you've given information which makes a lot of sense. That this happened,
for having me,
and I'm very grateful that you took out time. Thank you so much.
Part of your show. All right. Bye, everybody.